To understand written and spoken language and the connection to its social context, we can conduct a method of research called Discourse Analysis. This will allow us to understand usage of language in real-life situations. In this video, we will be taking a look at the sample analysis along with its findings and results. Here we have a DA paper or a discourse analysis paper titled Communication Theory, System, Constraints, and Conversational Analysis. This is written by Kuntrum Trilestari of Pascasarjana Program, Srivijaya University. This is a 15-page paper that aims to study a specific communication theory. Let's look at the first page. This is a usual title page in a standard research paper format. On the second page is the introduction of his research. He briefly explained the focus of his study. In this case is the system, constraints, and communication theory. In the explication, he introduced his resources like the Hatch's book and some sociologists such as Irving Goffman and Gail Jefferson, who actually developed a system for transcription. As this communication system requires an analysis on conversational data, spoken language are being converted to written language. And this is actually done by the use of signals and symbols. The author in the introduction enumerated these standard symbols, some examples, and how it is being used when analyzing those conversational data. The fifth to the half of the last page, or the 16th page, focuses on the main content along with some sample scenarios to explain the 8 system constraints to be universal in all human communication.
So there's have 8 system constraints by Goffman. So he claimed it the universal in all human conversation. So I only explain the one, and this is the channel open or class signal. So when we said channel open or class signal, this is when or where your communication begins. So the best example for this is the phone call. So you expected that if you're answering the phone and we usually say hello, and when the call is done, so we usually say goodbye. So this is for how the conversation end or how the conversation is started.
So we have here back channel signal or the feedback. It encouraged the speaker to continue speaking. Like for example, did you see that little girl? And your response would be like, or yeah, yes. So it would be encourage her to speak more. And next is a turnover signal or taking signal allow for a smooth exchange of turn. Like for example, slowing tempo, vowel elongation, falling intonation, and lastly, a change of gaze direction. So sometimes in turnover signal, may nangyayaring overlapping. Though hindi naman siya intended or it didn't happen because gusto niyang agawan ng spotlight ng isa or manapaw. That sometimes happen because sometimes the question that you ask, alam nila pareho, kaya nangyayari yung ganun. So next, we have acoustically adequate and interpretable message. We have 2 ways of dealing with difficulty adequate and interpreting message. The first one is fake it. The second one is back channel cue. So in fake it, you will just nod your head even if you didn't understand what the speaker means to the message that he is trying to say or rely on to you. And next is the back channel cue. This one is contradict to the fake it. This one would do a body gesture that would send a signal to the speaker that he didn't understand what does he mean. Bracket signal. Well, bracket signal is used to show that some parts of the message or a side sequence are not right on the line with the message of the moment. So for example, your teacher is discussing about discourse analysis. After niya binasa yung meaning ng discourse analysis, he look up onto you and then sinabi niya, bibilisan ko na mag-lecture kasi alam kong gutom na kayo, and then she would get back into the topic again. Non-participant constraints is where we are not in a group of conversation and we are trying to get into that conversation. Like for example, your classmate is talking about samgyup that is located at the SM. So since you knew that the name of the samgyup is romantic baboy, you would get into that conversation. Like for example, they were talking like, ano nga ulit yung pangalan ng samgyup na kinainan natin, and then you will enter like saying na yung sa SM ba, ano yung name nun, romantic baboy, like ganun. Tawag din dun is parang strategy para makapasok ka dun sa conversation na hindi ka naman kasali. Firm signal is the condition where we are in a group or we are part of the conversation, but we need or we want to stop or interrupt the conversation because we need to do something or we need to clarify the message that he's trying to say to you. Like for example, you need to do something, so in order for her to stop talking, biglang mo like this, and then that would sign a signal to her na stop talking. Or if hindi mo na-guess yung sinabi mo or yung sinabi niya, mag-raise ka ng eyebrows or yung mata mo ilalakihan like ganun. So lastly, we have Grisha norms of communication. So in communication cannot truly works unless the participant generally observe the four norms of operation, like the relevance, truthfulness, quality, and clarity.
To conclude all that, human communication is said to have 8 system constraints that affects the sender or the caller and the receiver or the answerer. The comprehension of a conversation also varies from the medium of communication, culture, norms, and individual perception that belongs to a variety of society.
Formal and informal conversation also varies upon the natural communication of an individual. The usage of yeah, yup, and indicate signals to the sender and the receiver. The intentions, identification, stress, speech, and actions makes the conversation either colorful or vague.